guys, it's Mark here, back with the next playing card review, and today we are reviewing the Void If Removed playing cards, also known as the Overlook deck. So a little bit of history about this deck before we get into the video. So I think 2021, I might be off on the year, but Art of Play released this deck. If my memory is correct, they were originally in mystery decks, like that was the only way to get them. And yeah, like as you can see by the deck, the other ones pretty much exactly the same, at least from the tuck case perspective, just a different colorway. But yeah, so people got it. There was no info about it, just Void If Removed. As you can see, nothing written on any of the sides, just that little key slot there, and then the Void If Removed. And I forget if it was Dan or Dave. I mean, obviously they work together, but one of them, their favorite movie is The Shining, so they made this deck of cards. And yeah, so some people were lucky enough to get it in mystery decks, and then I think they eventually down the line sold it at a very high price point. I believe it was $36. I'll look it up and see if I can find it in their archives on Art of Play. But yeah, super cool. So this deck, obviously we have the maze sort of pattern here, based on the maze from the movie The Shining, and this is also known as, well, the V1s or the carpet back, because the back design of this one, which you'll actually see on one of the ad cards in the deck we're opening, is the carpet from the hotel in the movie The Shining. So yeah, just a little bit of context on that. So that came out, and then it was either this past Christmas or the one before that. Yeah, either 2023 or 2022 Christmas. I believe it was just this last Christmas, so just a few months ago, this deck was released. And now this deck has never been sold on their website. It's just been sold in mystery decks, and the first deck was a huge success. So then, you know, this one was also, from my opinion, a huge success. So if you look on eBay or anywhere where people resell cards, it has a very high price point, as well as this one still does, even after them selling it. Like this deck of cards on eBay, both of them, it varies a little bit, but like $60 is the price point for them if you don't get them in a mystery deck. Now I do have another one of this exact same deck that I did get in a mystery deck for $12. And yeah, I feel like these decks, you know, like even this one over the last few years has just gone up in value, and I believe the same will be with this deck. I think besides, like, obviously the early smoke and mirrors, like if we're start talking, not including that, like Art of Play decks, it's, you know, the one that appreciates in value the most, from my opinion, is obviously the If an Octopus Could Palm V1s, which I don't have. I do have the V2s. I would think those are the second most, and then these two. So those two particular designs, or, you know, versions of cards they made, I would think, yeah, just have the best value. So I couldn't bring myself to open one. So a while ago I said for 75 subscribers I would get a second deck of these cards, you know, to open. And yeah, for 75 subscribers, and I'm hoping, because it's happened before where I've like went down on subscribers, and we just got to 75 about 24 hours ago. So I'm really hoping like no one subscribes, and hopefully I don't lose any subscribers, and then when I release, you know, 75 subscriber video, it's at 74 or something. But anyway, my last video was almost 40 minutes, and someone told me they think that's the longest playing card video they've ever seen for just a single deck review. So I'm gonna try and make this one a little faster. I know I say that all the time, and it never goes that way, but I think around the 15-20 minute mark is good. But yeah, so now that you know the history behind this deck a little bit, Obviously, you know, there's a lot more to it. You can look stuff up if you want, or if you have any particular questions, you can ask me in the comments. But yeah, love this deck of cards. I really love this one because it's the first edition, but just the color of this and the back design, I believe I like better. Now, some people I've seen take off the sticker here and kind of peel it back. I'm not going to be doing that. Maybe if I only had, like I said, one deck of these, but yeah, I was fortunate enough to get a second one. So yeah, I'm just going to cut it like I would do with any other deck. But yeah, so as you can see, no name or anything on it. So like when this deck first released, or when the green, more specifically when the green deck first released, pretty interesting to see people's reactions, because literally there was no information out on it of the time. And you know, so kind of a cool, not kind of, a very cool sort of marketing tactic by Art of Play. And yeah, very cool. So yeah, we've got the tuck case here, is embossed, and as I've mentioned before in other videos, I really love the long stamp stickers, whatever you call them. But yeah, embossed there of the maze. And yeah, so let's get into this deck of cards. It is just plain white on the inside, but yeah, super cool. Love like the black that kind of comes out sort of like in between the lines. And now, so if you look at the back design, it's almost like an inverse of you know, like the opposite, like the parts that stand out are, yeah, I don't know, it's basically the same thing, but just like an inverse of it, if that makes sense. And this is a very subtle one-way back design, if you guys can see the differences. I guess there's a few. On the most prominent one being, there's the entrance to the maze on one side. So yeah, it is a one-way back design, so keep that in mind for you know, doing fans or anything like that. So yeah, super cool. Something really interesting too, kind of conspiracy theories. So this is what the back design is for this green deck here. And sorry, I know I said I was going to get into the review, but it's a quick thought here. So on the V1s, this, I think it was in green actually, but this was the other side. And keep in mind, this design, other than just the green on the tuck case, wasn't anywhere. You know, this was the full back design for this deck of cards. But they had a card that was, you know, the back design of this, the deck it was in, and then the other side was this. I believe it was in green though. But so anyway, to say that, it was almost like foreshadowing what the next edition would be. And they have this card here, which is very interesting. It has a picture, that's the, if my mind serves me right, that's the mountain when they're driving up to the hotel in the beginning of the movie. So my thought is, and I was thinking of this on the spot now, but my thought is that they're going to do a third edition at some point, and this is going to be the back design. It'll be more foreshadowing. But yeah, even if they don't do a third edition, I kind of feel like they did that just in case they wanted to. But yeah, and then also super cool, like I said, the ad cards here. Like people, you know, as Art of Play will put Fontaine cards or, you know, random brands of cards in their mystery deck. So people who ordered this as a mystery deck when the green deck first came out, there's nothing that says Art of Play. No branding anywhere in the deck of cards. So yeah, we just had the two I showed you, and then this one with red to match the sticker, obviously. And then, yeah, just this card which says, no man is, sorry, it's hard to read backwards on there. No man is an island entire of itself. I don't remember, it's been a little while since I've seen The Shining. I do love movies, but I've heard that quote before. I'm not sure if it's from The Shining or what it's from. But yeah, super pretty fan here. Super, super cool. And from what I've heard, yeah, this deck feels great. But yeah, let's get into the Ace of Spades here. Super cool. So we have the key. Where? Oh, that's really cool. So we have the key. So we kind of had, I guess it's the same key that's on there. I was thinking this was more like the slot for the key, and this was the key itself. But I guess it's the same design. But yeah, super cool. As you can see, like the font might be a little different, but for the most part, it's pretty standard. But I've done 2 reviews recently where it's like really crazy, not crazy, but like the Calder playing cards that Art of Play just released was my last video, by the way. If you guys want to check that out, I was super excited about those cards. They're so cool, one of my favorites. But I loved how it was handwritten and every card was different, but there's also something to simplistic deck of cards with just a really cool back design. So yeah, I can definitely appreciate both types of decks. But as we see here, pretty standard court cards, but just the colors more so. I guess it's not, I don't know, I look at so many decks of cards I forget what standard is at this point, but nothing too crazy, but the color palette is a little different, more so I think like the green and red to match the colors of the movie The Shining, obviously. Yeah, and then basic standard, like I said, the font might be a little bit different than standard. I think it is. I don't know, it's so hard to tell. I need like a normal like bicycle rider back deck of cards with me at all times so I can compare it to other decks. But yeah, really love the colors. That like forest green in there just looks so nice. And yeah, I'm not typically like a huge green person, but yeah, that just looks so good. Yeah, very, very cool. So yeah, we won't spend too much more time on the court cards. I just want to show you guys all of them, and obviously if anyone wants to, oh, interesting, the flowers the queen's holding there. So yeah, there is some little extra details, I believe, I guess. I'm not positive, but I think there's a little bit of extra details, and then obviously the color differences. But yeah, just gonna hold it on every card for a sec if anyone wants to pause and look at them. But yeah, super cool. King is always stabbing himself in the head. King of Hearts, that is. But yeah, the queens, if I've never noticed this on a regular deck of cards, then I'm crazy, but I am 99.9% sure that the queens are not holding flowers in a standard deck of playing cards, and if they are, I don't know how I've never noticed that. But yeah, so yeah, very cool, little bit of a difference to the deck or the court cards. Love that Ace of Spades, just like so good. And then yeah, then love the fan there, and really like, because you just see like the outside line, like even if you get the cards switched up, here's one holding, so you can see the difference there of the one-way back design. Let's do a fan the other way actually too, to see if it, yeah, like you really just catch the outside edge, and it's mostly just lines anyway, so I don't think it will make too much of a difference, if any difference, in the fan if you get the cards mixed up or anything. But yeah, super cool deck of cards. Let's give them a couple shuffles here, and then we'll get into the rating. But yeah, I've been super excited to open this deck of cards. Wow, yeah, they feel super nice. Yeah, like I said, my last video was 40 minutes, and that was strictly because every card was unique, and I wanted to go over every single detail, but we don't need to look at, a 2 and 3 that look exactly the same, or you know what I mean. Yeah, those Calder playing cards, every single 2 was different from each other, every single court card was different from the next one, so yeah. But yeah, I can definitely appreciate both kinds. I like, like this is a great cardistry deck, although I think most people aren't gonna use 50 going up to even, I've seen it as high as $80 deck of cards for cardistry. Most people are going to leave them closed. This one, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, because I've got my closed one still, obviously. I'm not going to, use these cards a lot by any means. Probably something that, get out for special occasions, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type of person, if I just have one of a certain deck of cards, it's like if it's a expensive deck or a nice deck like this, sometimes I don't want to open it, but or if an Octopus could palm V2s, that deck of cards I'll probably never open. Will I, if we hit big subscriber count someday, maybe get a second deck of those and do it for, something like this? Yeah, I would do that, but always want to have one of them closed. I would never, even if I had one on the way, I'm not going to open that first one. I'm going to wait till the second one gets here, and then I'm going to open the second one. But, it might just be a little OCD, I don't know. But, super cool deck of cards. Really, really like this. They handle super nice. Super, super cool. But like I said, there's different decks of cards that you can like for different reasons. This one is great because it's simple, and there's just, subtle things like the maze and the color palette and the stuff like that makes it cool. And obviously, if you look off at the tuck case, nothing on the sides, you wouldn't expect this to be a crazy deck of cards. You would definitely expect a more simplistic deck of cards. Cards feel super cool. I've been working on that cardistry move. You're supposed to have an off note, but supposed to get it to, I messed it up now, but to fold off that thumb, and I don't know, I think it's just because I have a little bit smaller hands, but I just can't reach that thumb over. But very Christmassy sort of look to the cards, obviously with the white and then just the green and red. Definitely a Christmas type of vibe to it. But standard pips and indices, very cool. Love this deck of cards. So let's get into the rating. Tuck case has to be 10 out of 10 for me. Like I said, this is the, name one other deck of cards that doesn't have any branding on it. It just says void if removed. It's a deck that's basically telling you to not open this deck of cards, which is pretty funny if you think about the purpose of playing cards. And just really cool. But especially I would have loved to have been really into playing cards. I've always been into Magic and cards, but if I had gotten one of the Overlook decks the first time it came out, or what do people think when they get that deck of cards? It's and also if it's something you haven't heard of and are to play, you're probably thinking it's an expensive deck, so you're oh, should I not open this? And I would have just loved to see people on Reddit talking about it, in the playing card forums, and speculating what it is. And I don't know at what point Art of Play said, hey, this is our deck, this is what it's based on. But super, super cool story behind this deck of cards. And like I said, just love the colors on that. So 10 out of 10 for the tuck case. Back design, even though it is a one-way back design, like I said, I've mixed these cards up, and you can't tell on the fan at all. That wasn't a very good fan, but that's typically my number. Oh my gosh, that was even worse. That's typically my number. There we go. My number one critique with one-way back designs is how it messes up the fan. But with this, it doesn't, and I just love, like I said, it's intricate but simplistic at the same time. If you just glance at it, simple, lines, but if you look in it, and I haven't done it, but is there a way where you can those mazes that you would do at restaurants as a kid, is it's a maze, so is there an actual way to like go all the way around and out the other end or get through it. I'm not really sure. I would think so. But like I said, it's simplistic, but then the more you look at it, it's really intricate as well. So yeah, super, super cool. 10 out of 10 for that. Yeah, pips, indices, court cards. I've mentioned this in a couple videos recently, but everything, and obviously every score is subjective, but what I'm getting at is if this was the court cards on like those Calder playing cards I just reviewed, I would have been really disappointed because that's supposed to be a cool, whimsical, like really out there, fun deck of cards. But when it's a simplistic, just I don't know, like almost gives like I don't know what you call it, like elegant vibes, like black tie sort of vibes. But like you would expect the pips and indices to be standard. So it's always like, what's the tuck case like? What's the back design like? What are the cards in general like? And then how, because if this had a bunch of crazy like handwritten pips and indices and numbers and everything, it wouldn't make sense for it. So even though I do like some differences, those court cards, the colors on them, like I said, the color palette is just amazing. Looks so cool, very Christmassy. Yeah, very obviously The Shining. But yeah, so for this, I have to give it a 10 out of 10, which brings us to 30 out of 30, I believe. Sorry, I normally have a piece of paper here, but I was just going off it. But yeah, so 30 out of 30. And I've looked at this deck, I've watched videos of this deck, so, I kind of had an idea beforehand, so if it seems like I'm just glossing over quickly, like, I've watched many videos of this deck, I kind of knew what to expect. And also, on another note, I rarely mention it because it's rarely relevant, but the No Man is an island of itself, that card, and then this card, as well as this card, like I said, which I think might be foreshadowing to a third edition, who knows, but I love that gets taken into consideration with the face cards, the pips and indices, the court cards. If there's a very cool, or even if there's a very bad ad cards and jokers or whatever the extra 4 cards are, that gets taken into consideration. And honestly, like these on itself, I would probably give a 9 out of 10, but this card right here is so cool. That card, and then, yeah, like I said, the No Man is an island entire of itself card, that's just so cool. So, yeah, definitely went above and beyond with the ad cards here, and I just love how Art of Play is like, yeah, we're going to make a deck of cards and not put any branding or a name on it anywhere in the deck. I just think that's super cool. So yeah, let's see. So we're at 30 out of 30. We have feel. If you're new to the channel, I do 5 categories. We've gone over the first 3. Price is the 4th, or not 4th, but one of the 5 categories. One of the 2 we haven't gotten to yet. Honestly, this is really tough for me because, yes, it's an expensive deck of cards, but yes, it's a deck that's, like, when I first got into collecting, it was, which I got it from a mystery deck, but okay, so, yeah, there's a little bit to this because the other deck of this I got from a mystery deck, and that was $12, so obviously that was an insane deal. This deck right here was like $50, I believe. I got it on the cheaper end for what these cards normally go for. Yeah, somewhere around there. But yeah, so for the first deck, obviously that's a 10 out of 10 every day of the week, but this physical, tangible deck of cards that I'm reviewing right now, I did not pay $12 for. So, but either way, like, I don't know, it's all relative, but like, if I didn't have this deck in my collection yet, Like, I just really love this deck, especially with already having the green one. Like, you know, there's 2 decks, the Phenoctopus Good Palm, and then the Fontaine Kogan alts, and then the 2 Overlook decks. Those are the first 4 decks that I display on my, you know, card display back there. Is, you know, they're definitely the 4 most expensive ones. But anyway, just to say, like, you know, I would definitely, for like this video, you know, how much is it worth to me if it gets a lot of views, you know, and brings people to my channel and, you know, makes people's day and they like the video, then yeah, it's totally worth the money for these cards. But I don't know, sorry for that rant there, but at this point in I still have to give it a 9 out of 10. Like, just the experience opening these deck of cards, yeah, totally worth it to me. Obviously not something you do every day, but I've been looking forward to this since we hit 50 subscribers and we did the giveaway for that. I've had this planned, so yeah, I didn't tell people what it was right away, but I knew what it was, and so for weeks I've been looking forward to opening this deck of cards, and there's multiple times where we're at, like, you know, 72 subscribers, and I was like, we're close enough, should I open it? I was like, nope, it'll feel better. So with everything added together and, you know, getting to do this with you guys for getting to 75 subscribers, it's totally worth the price. So 9 out of 10 for that feel. Honestly, let's see how this shuffle is. So there's this running, not even joke, just a thing in any review I do. When I mention the feel of the cards, the next shuffle is always buckles like that, which is expected for a new deck of cards. But yeah, they feel super great. My phone is about to die. But yeah, we're gonna give it a 9 out of 10. So yeah, 48 out of 50. The Overlook Maze Back playing cards, or Edition 2, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, or even if you're not new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If you have a deck of cards you want me to review, let me know in the comments and I'll review it. Like I said, if you have any questions about these cards, let me know and I will answer them as best I can for you. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one, and we'll have something great planned for 100 subscribers when we get there. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.